When you take the time to quiet your mind and allow your vibration to rise, you put yourself in the most probable situation where you're going to be tuned in to that broader perspective who knows what the path of least resistance is for you. This is an important thing to know. Your inner being knows where you stand in every moment in relationship to everything you want. And your inner being knows what the best path is, given what you believe and where you are, to get you there. And so if you've taken the time to get receptive and you've practiced allowing those thoughts to flow so you know what they feel like when they flow, then the path of least resistance is opening to you all the time. This general plan of things working out for you. And we cannot emphasize enough the details of the plan that you've really put into your vortex. And so those are good words. You could say, put myself in a position to receive impulses so that the plan that I have already set into motion can work out in the best possible way. That's one way of looking at it. Once you've mastered meditation and you know what the receptive mode is and you're mostly there, then you've taken care of most of the business. But otherwise, let's say you got up, you didn't meditate, you've been meditating, so you mostly feel pretty good, but something happened that's been stuck in your vibrational craw. Momentum always continues to come. Whatever you've got active in your vibration is going to keep coming your way. And so something arrived at your doorstep to which you had a negative knee-jerk reaction. When that happens, so this is the second thing that we would do. If you're in that position and that happens, we would openly, maybe even out loud if you're alone, say to ourselves, what is my path of least resistance from where I now stand? Meaning, how can I feel better right now? Sometimes when something hits you, it puts you enough out of balance that you can't really tune right back in to this pure positive energy. However, the more often you have done that, then the easier it is for you to get there. So part of this number 2 is do your best to reach for the best feeling thought. In other words, look for the path of least resistance. But here's the new emphasis that we're adding today. Don't freak out when you're having negative emotion. Negative emotion is part of the deciphering process. So don't beat up on yourself about it. So, of course, these are our newest, most fantastic, most productive, most helpful words to you all. Get out ahead of it. Get out ahead of it. When you go to a restaurant that you know is jammed and you know they take reservations, you often get out ahead of it by making a reservation. You don't just show up at the airport expecting to get on an airplane. You get out ahead of it by making a reservation. You understand getting out ahead of it in terms of physical action. You do it all the time. But most people don't energetically take the time to get out ahead of it, even though the energetic getting out ahead of it couples you with an energy that is so powerful. It is the energy that creates worlds. It's really worth taking the time to do it. But for whatever reason, on this particular subject, you didn't get out ahead of it because it wasn't keenly in your awareness until this manifestation showed up, and you are now maybe more keenly aware, or maybe only now aware, that you had this vibration and now it's manifested. You're looking at it with full view. Don't look too long. Don't try to solve the problem. This is the second thing that we would do if we were standing in your physical shoes. We would not try to solve the problem, because when the problem shows up and you get after it, don't worry, it will get worse. It will get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. The law of attraction says that it must. And yet you are sort of humanly wired to say, oh, I got to fix this. You've been fixing it for others. You've been fixing it for your lovers. You've been fixing it for your kids. You've been fixing it to get the mark on the chart. You've been fixing things, or thinking you are. You haven't been fixing them. You've just been making them bigger every single time. And so the third thing that we would do, and this is a powerful, powerful, powerful tool, is what we call segmented intending. And it's that plan that you sort of kind of wanted to make. The plan that is specific to this moment. So when we realize that we're moving into a new segment. And a new segment is anytime I'm moving from one place to another, anytime my intention is changed, or anytime someone new has walked into the situation. Those are new segments. There are other reasons for new segments, but those are primarily the reason for new segments. We would stop and we would acknowledge, what do I want from this segment? And we would begin with the emotional statements of, I want to feel good, and I want to have clarity, and I want to take pleasure from this segment. I want to be of value in this segment. And then you could say things like something more specific. I want to have a smooth traffic flow. I want things to unfold comfortably for me so that I can get into a hotel with ease. Just soft and light things. It's like more specifically to this moment, focusing upon what you really want and making sure that your vibration is in a place that you can receive the impulse about this situation. So Esther started playing a game about 2 weeks ago, as we talked about segment intending again with her one morning while she was riding with us. And so she decided that for a while she was going to segment intend every segment by just stopping and focusing. Well, it slowed her day down a bit because it takes a couple of minutes to do, but the payoff was huge because it's like universal forces line things up for you so you have less to stumble over. And the biggest thing she noticed was the clarity in her own mind, because things would occur to her at the right moment, so she wasn't doubling back on things so much. Those are the 3 things. So that's the key, because if you're accepting the pleasure of this non-resistant moment, then it's just going to keep unfolding. That is the work. Because there's a bunch of things that are jacked up in this world. We can understand why you're gathering together in teams and pushing against each other. It just never works. When you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, the impulses that occur to you are productive in nature. You don't have to figure everything out in advance because you've already put it into your vortex. So now you are in a receptive mood by being satisfied with what is while you're eager for more. So what's going to be more likely to do that? First, getting out ahead of it so that what you want is active. Segment intending so that you're tending to your vibration as you go along. And this is the most important thing that we will ever say to anyone. And this is the perfect time to say it to all of you. Don't be mad at yourself when you're in the middle of a mess. Esther's standing there in her bathroom. They've torn it all up. She's got to go to the airport. Her pickup is coming soon, and her wall's all torn up. And she says, well, just tear it up and lock the door and let it dry out. And when I come back, we'll see where we're at. And she walked away feeling great. Kind of like, not my job. It's not my job. You all do these things all the time, but we think it is really a value for you to live through something that looks like it's going to be hard, and then you relax and it unfolds, and then you digest it and acknowledge that things are always working out for me, because the more you know that, then the less tension is within you as you're approaching new or unusual or even uncomfortable situations. Yes? Rather than being that dog on a bone that's trying to fix this thing that is wrong, just acknowledge, my guidance is letting me know that I'm out of whack here. I'm just going to let this go for now. Let it go. The only logical way that any of you with your intellect and your reason could let it go is if you understand that when the problem happened, you put a new request. And so you're going to let the new request gestate. And more important, you're going to let your inner being and the law of attraction factor in your new request. It could be a new request about an old mate. It could be a new request about an old situation. So you don't think it's new, but it is. Everything that just happened is new, because in every moment you are. So your new request is being factored in. And now you have only one thing to do, and that's chill. That's not easy when this thing just happened, because you want to solve it. You know what it is that is mostly making you want to do something about this thing that just happened just now? You believe that your perspective is right. And you believe that whoever else is involved, if their perspective is different than yours, is wrong. And there is this quest to be right. Now, we want to appeal to your logic here. We think you are right. because whatever just happened, everything that you know makes you know that this is off. And they're probably feeling the same way, but we're not talking to them. We're just talking about them. So you may very well be right, but now you're doing something that will never work for you. You're trying to find harmony with a human, an unreasonable human who thinks they're right about something that you know they're wrong about. When what you're wanting to find harmony with is your inner being and your own evolution. In other words, the harmony that you're looking for, you're wanting to find the path to what this situation had caused you to want, not prove yourself right. You need to admit that you're wrong. Oh, good luck with that. There's the appeals court, you know. And then. You never get to the bottom of it. But if you take the hit and you feel it, and then you consciously acknowledge, well, I've set more requests, and I know my inner being is on it. And I know that the solution has already become, and I'm in the process of moving in the direction of it. So one is keep meditating, because that gives you the greatest leverage, the greatest alignment, the greatest replenishment, the greatest clarity, and you'll get better and better at it. And second is, don't freak out when negative emotion happens. Instead, embrace it as a good thing, because it puts something in the vortex to which you will receive impulses later on. Just don't try to solve the problem when it first shows itself to you or second shows itself to you. Don't try to solve any problems. Understand that the problem and your awareness of the problem created a solution instantaneously, and now your work is to get chill enough that the solution can show itself to you. Because every situation is like a stick with two ends on it. What's wanted on one end and the absence of what's wanted on the other. And the law of attraction, bless its heart, is relentless. The law of attraction doesn't say, like a consciousness would, oh, well, what he really wants is this, so even though he's focused over there, we'll bring him this. The law of attraction doesn't arbitrate like that. Law of attraction gives you what's active in your vibration. And when you are solving a problem, what's active in your vibration? The problem. Yeah. Are you aware that there isn't anything that you want to know that we haven't addressed in its entirety here today? And the reason we know that, and we do know that, the reason we know that is because the gathering actually gathered before you dragged your physical bodies here. What you are living has queued you up for what you are wanting to know. And this combination of people who have come forward and conversed with us was the best probability from all that we knew about what you were wanting to know to bring you to the place of greatest clarity in the speediest manner. It is our desire that you leave this gathering with just a very short list of intentions. The first intention that would serve you would be, I've decided that I'm going to be in the vortex. And even though I don't always know what that means or exactly how to get in, I've got the gist of it. I know that sometimes I just sort of stumble in. Sometimes I hear a song on the radio that puts me right there. Sometimes I remember making love to someone and it puts me right there. Sometimes I remember a beautiful view or something that someone said and it puts me right there. So sometimes I just find myself in the vortex. And next time that happens, where I'm consciously aware that I'm having a really delicious moment, I'm going to stop and say, what is it about this that I like so much? Jerry and Esther have taken to that. They'll be often in a restaurant or sometimes moving down a highway, and they will find themselves just feeling so good that they will want to exaggerate the aspects of the moment in order to milk it just a little longer. Sometimes someone will offer them a compliment or a gift or a letter, and they will talk about it and talk about it and talk about it and talk about it. Sometimes they will read your letter 10 times because it felt so good the first time. Why not do it again? In other words, milking the moment of being in the vortex for the singular intention of practicing in the vortex vibration. So when